Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts for Bitcoin to see what's been going on most recently with the price action of BTC. Now as I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet done so, join us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. If you do go down there, I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find. So as I said, links in the description down below. It'll be fantastic to chat to you down in Discord. Right, let's jump right down into Bitcoin here. Let's see what's been going on most recently and what I think might actually happen next here for BTC. So if we actually just zoom out a little bit on this hourly chart, we can kind of good ideas to kind of, the moves that we've been having to the upward direction here. And, there's some interesting kind of stuff that are going on. And as we start to approach this $45,000 range and, what kind of resistance is going to be found, right? So there's a lot of resistance up here. Ideally, we want to push through it, but we've got a few things that we need to obviously line up first, right? So essentially, we've actually had this move go impulsive here on our hourly chart, and we are just in that final move of this fifth wave, and we probably need to see some kind of corrective action here because we haven't quite reached the threshold here. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the Fibonacci retracement from this fourth wave, which was just ABC here, and again this could be some kind of corrective pattern that hasn't quite finished yet for this fourth wave, but essentially we should be moving up to at least kind of 43,700 in my opinion. But we have got those higher targets right up there towards the higher ranges. So we are looking for some kind of reset here on our stochastic RSI. We're a little bit on the higher side for this hourly chart, but when we take a look at the 4 hourly, we're in a pretty good position, and that's nothing to worry about there. The 8 hourlies are pretty high. The daily is pretty high, and the weekly has come up far too much. So there's going to be some kind of corrective action probably after we complete this fifth wave. So we need to push up a little bit more first, and then I think we're going to start to see some kind of corrective play. Okay, so something to just kind of keep an eye on and to watch out for. So for now, we take a look at where we are. I'm expecting some kind of corrective pattern to form here. If we take a look at the move here, I think we've probably completed some kind of ABC move upwards. So we could potentially start to see some kind of ABC move downwards, probably testing out the range down here around $42,500. It's probably going to be the area that we're going to retest, I would have thought, find some kind of consolidation on. So just going to keep an eye on that to see how low we actually go. If we do drop down lower than this fourth wave, then essentially what I think this might look like would be some kind of expanding flat correction within wave 4. So you'd have an A wave that comes all the way down here, this B wave that comes up higher, and then potentially a C wave that comes down a little bit lower. Okay, now the key here is not crossing 41,547. Let me just check to make sure that's about right. So the high point is 41,544. So as long as we don't cross that line, we haven't invalidated the fifth wave. The lower that this moves down, the higher the fifth wave will have to go. So from kind of that kind of perspective, it's not too bad. But we want to keep a good close eye, a tight eye on this. If we do invalidate it by going down lower than this point, then it's fair game to reanalyze the wave counts because this was just ABC, and therefore we're just choppy corrective moves all over the place here. So we want to keep structure. So in order to keep structure, we want to make sure we stay above $41,544. Moving further up though, if we were to drop down lower, then that fifth wave goes higher. But otherwise, we want to be looking at a minimum of 43,752. This little wick that we've had right now doesn't really count. We've got a lot more kind of growth in there to come first, right? So we could see some kind of corrective pattern play out before we get that surge. So just keep an eye out on that on the smaller time frame. Now on the 4 hourly chart, right, we can kind of get a better picture of this, right? We've had this kind of pattern here. Now this could continue to grow. We don't necessarily have to come down on this 4 hourly chart. So basically just a fourth wave down and a fifth wave that can continue to grow up. And that's, of course, as we kind of come up towards $45,000, that's going to be the resistance on that trend line, that descending trend line. So again, we want to keep an eye out on that. We want to pierce through it, and we want to hit those $47,500 targets, because that would invalidate the structure of this this descending and triangular wedge. Okay, so we want to keep a very, very close eye on what is going on there with that. And there could potentially be a breakdown, pretty certain there eventually will be some kind of corrective action after this move up. It's very much going to be needed on the daily chart, and the weekly chart's stochastic RSI has moved far too fast for my liking. This is something that we saw back in March of 2020. That stochastic RSI moved too fast, that effectively we had to have another major correction occur. So we want to be open to those ideas that, you know, this is not over just yet. And, you know, we want to be analyzing our positions as we get close to the tops of some of these areas, right? So we want to make sure that we're you know, very aware of what happens next for Bitcoin, but also the altcoins as well. So essentially, this 4-hourly chart has plenty of room to grow. The 8-hourly chart, we can be up here for a bit longer yet. Doesn't bother me too much with where we are. But obviously, this move so far has invalidated the $34,000 low, but it has not invalidated the $36,000 low. Okay, so we want to be open to those ideas. And as we look to kind of complete this pattern, if I bring this back out a little bit, you can see how we'll get into that 47,500 target. Essentially, this is a big A, B, C wave, so our target is up here. The minimum would be to push past 45,500, or at least come up to 45,500, as that would be a double top. And you know, the C wave has to go higher than our A wave, because B wave has not gone down lower than origin. So for the most part, that's kind of what we're looking for there. So we should be looking at piercing this trend line. You know, I don't like trend lines anyway. They're so easy to invalidate. And yeah, the easiest things to use on technical analysis, but they're not overly powerful if they are used in isolation. So obviously only 2 touch points here anyway. So it's not overly the strongest, but we want to use it as a bit of an indicator to say we're going to be pushing past that i.e. trend, if that's what you want to call it. So that would be good, right? So $47,500, 45,500 is the minimum on the slightly larger term push here. Okay, now this is the same for the daily, guys, but you can kind of see it slightly differently. And there's a couple of ways that we can look at this. You know, essentially we've pulled down, and a lot of people are looking at this like some kind of triangular pattern that's potentially going to lead us down into some really low points. And it's possible, but I don't think probable. Okay, so essentially what we've got is some kind of play going on up here right now. This is not standard Elliott wave triangle or anything like that, because it's got too many waves inside it. So essentially what we've got is we've got 5, 5, 3, I think, 5, 5, 3 pattern here, and then, you know, this actually potentially hasn't even finished playing out, so it would basically be an ABC. So 5 waves, 5 waves, 3 waves, which is very irregular, unusual. You don't normally tend to see these things, and triangles always have to be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so the play that a lot of people are thinking is this, essentially, where we actually haven't completed the D wave low or the E wave high yet. So people think this is an E wave high, potentially, but I don't think that's the play just yet. I mean, it's possible that D does land down here, but you know, it would be very irregular to see such a thing, but it is possible. So, you know, if that is the case, then you have to move this up here and make it really, really sharp, because you need at least 2 touch points on each. Okay, so if that is the play, and this here is in fact our D wave, which I don't think it is, you can start to see how you're trying to manipulate it to make it work. I don't think this is a triangle of sorts like that, but it is obvious that we're getting tighter and tighter into this for an explosive move. And unfortunately, I do think that we are going to break down from it, right? So whether we call it an Elliott wave triangle or not, whether we have those right wave counts or not, essentially what I do think is there's going to be some kind of corrective pattern play once we break out of here. Okay, so I would anticipate a break up and then a breakdown. Okay, and I think the whole triangle piece is just a bit of a smoke and mirrors, a bit of a ruse, personally. Now, the low targets that I have in mind, just looking at areas that we've been to before, 37,500 is a good area of support, but so is 39,650, right? So if we're going to be talking about corrective moves, in order to kind of take us from 47 down to these ranges, I think that is the kind of needed requirement, or the move required to effectively correct the stochastic RSI on our weekly time frame, right? We need something of that kind of degree. What we don't need to see, what I don't think we have the momentum for, is to come down all the way down here again. Okay, I don't think there's going to be enough momentum to actually finish that off, and because the monthly stochastic RSI is completely oversold, so we're looking at just some minor corrections to allow us to basically correct our stochastic RSI on the weekly chart, okay, and obviously the daily, the 4-hourly, the 8-hourly, and so forth. So for the most part, we should be thinking upward move, and then some kind of corrective move. Okay, so good opportunities in the near future here for Bitcoin. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.